What's up, my friends? It's time to actually get things done. You've done the vision boards, you've done the weekly planning, you know your goals, and you have a giant to-do list. But now it's 8 a.m. on Monday morning. What are you actually going to do? There's tons of content out there, including on my own channel, about how to plan at a higher level. But when it actually comes down to it, it can be overwhelming to actually get things done during the day, let alone focus on getting the right things done that will help you reach your goals. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I plan my day and execute when the metaphorical fires start breaking out all around you. If we think about things that we're going to do each day, there are really just two types of tasks: day and time specific commitments and everything else. Day and time specific commitments are going to be the things on your calendar on any given day. These are things like work meetings, doctor's appointments, and social events. They're things that you've agreed to do with another person for a specific purpose at a specific time and location. We can talk more about arranging these commitments more efficiently, reducing the amount of meetings you have, or delegating certain commitments. But for the purposes of this daily planning, let's say you've already committed to these things, so they're going to happen. So as I'm planning my day, the first thing I'm going to take a look at are my day and time specific commitments. So let's do this together. Looking at my own calendar on this random Wednesday, I can see that at 7 a.m. I have an online French lesson with my teacher for an hour. At 9 a.m., I have a 30-minute check-in meeting with my manager. At 11 a.m., I have a 1-hour client meeting. From 1 to 3 p.m., I have 2 more back-to-back client meetings. And at 3:30 p.m., I have an internal meeting with my coworker. And then at 5:30 p.m., I've signed up for a group fitness class. All of these are date and time-specific commitments that I've already committed to attending for the day. One tip to help you guys out here: unless your job is something where your entire day is already scheduled and planned out for you ahead of time, like, say, being a teacher or a doctor, being at work isn't really a day and time specific commitment. Sure, you may need to be doing work-related activities or be at an office during certain hours, but if you have the flexibility to work on projects and get things done as efficiently as you can, stick with looking at your calendar how I've just described. So now, we've looked at and planned the skeleton of our day, which are the date and time specific commitments. Now it's time to plan out the second type of daily task, everything else. This is where most people tend to get a bit overwhelmed and stressed. While it may be exhausting to spend the whole day in back-to-back meetings or appointments, you don't really need to make any decisions about how to spend your time because everything is already clearly defined. Our goal here is to clearly define all of your other stuff that you're going to accomplish during the day so that you can seamlessly transition between your meetings and appointments and your other more ambiguous actions. To do this, we're going to use a variation of the Ivy Lee method. If you haven't heard of it, the Ivy Lee method basically just says that you should begin each day by writing down 6 things that you want to accomplish in the day. It says that you should start with the first item on your list and focus entirely on it until it's complete, and then move on to the next item until it's completed, and so on, until everything's done. I use a slight variation of this to help define and plan out all of the other stuff I want to accomplish each day. So now we have our calendar. And now I'm going to take out my awesome whiteboard, write out the date on top, and write out the numbers 1 through 6. And here, based on my current commitments, my personal goals, I'm going to write 6 things that I'm going to get done today, in between my calendar commitments. These can be both personal and professional things, and I don't care what order they get done in, as long as they get done. This allows me to focus on the key things that will help me be successful in my career and get closer to my personal and professional goals. They aren't going to go on my calendar because I like the flexibility of being able to be creative and get things done when they make the most sense to me, rather than just assigning them to a time on my calendar. So here are the 6 things that I've chosen for this random Wednesday. I want to call 15 prospective customers to follow up with them. I want to complete 4 quotes or proposals for the customers I'm currently working with. I want to read up on a new technology that I'm not super familiar with so I can stay up to date with the current trends in my industry. I want to meal prep for the next 3 days. I want to write a first draft of the script for my next YouTube video. And I'd like to walk 10,000 steps today. Now, none of these things need to be completed at a certain time today, but each of them will help me get closer to my goals so I can be more successful. The first 2 things on my list will help me keep up to date with being successful at my job. While this third thing isn't super urgent, it's important for my long-term career growth. Meal prepping and getting 10,000 steps will support my health and fitness goals, and scripting my YouTube video will help me in my goal of growing my channel. Now, I don't really care when these things get done, but by writing them down and keeping them visible during the day, My brain will naturally start to ponder these 6 things and potentially help me get creative when how I get them done. For example, I can see on my calendar today that I have all these meetings today, but I also want to get 10,000 steps. If I work from an office, can my manager and I have our 30-minute check-in meeting while walking around the block together? Or maybe I can finish 2 of my 4 quotes in the morning and then do the other 2 during that 30-minute open block I have at 3 p.m. The time around my meetings and appointments is mine to make the most of. And by clearly defining ahead of time what my priorities are for the day, I have the freedom to use that time proactively instead of reactively. I'll also save the time of needing to think and decide what to do whenever I have time. Obviously, things can still pop up, and emergencies do still tend to happen during the day that will require my attention. But by having my list of 6 things, it will be easier to get back on track and refocus our attention once the emergency has passed. And if I don't get through all 6 things on my list, I'll just leave it on there for tomorrow. The main idea here is to define how you're going to prioritize your time so that when the time comes, you don't need to think about what to do next. So what if you don't know what 6 things to write on your list? Well, a great place to start is to think about your goals and desires and ask yourself, how does a person who already has this thing that I desire spend their time? As an example, if you want to lose 10 pounds and be more fit, think about, how would a fit person spend their time? Would they prioritize going out to happy hour after work? Or would they be hitting the gym, meal prepping, and getting 10,000 steps a day? The goal here is to make a habit of doing the things that successful people do so that you can be successful yourself, whatever that looks like for you. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you found this helpful in thinking about how you plan your day. As you can see, you don't need to spend a ton of time on this exercise each day, maybe like 10 to 15 minutes max. But by taking just a little bit of time for planning your day, you'll be less stressed and more efficient with your time. If you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy this video I made about how to translate your amazing lofty goals into an effective execution strategy. I'll put the link to that video here in case you're interested. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.